there was a lot of really great guesses when it came to what's Glen going to be shaking. And some of you were all pretty close. So this is a compost pile that Glen made for us this year when he cleaned out by this windbreak. And boy, did it heat up nicely. And he stretched it out. First it started in a big pile, and then he stretched it out in this nice long line. And it has been cooking and cooking all summer long. Let's go see how it feels in there. You'd be like, oh no, Annette's putting her hand in a giant pile of poo. Yeah, I am. So it's looking pretty good. So what is going to happen? The reason why he made this shaker, and yeah, it does look like part of a grain separator, grain cleaner. We had one of those. It was an old-fashioned one that Glen was renovating, and he ended up selling it after he'd fixed it up. So he's going to stick the compost on there and shake out the finer compost, and the big lumps will come and fall down here. So you'll see that working and see how it goes.
Hi, so Annette was wanting me to tell you why we made this sifter machine here. Last year we made compost and we put it on the garden, and it worked really well, except that we never screened it. So we had lots of big particles and small particles, and that really didn't matter for like potatoes and stuff. But when you were trying to seed carrots and beets and you were marking your lines, you'd hit a big clump of compost. It was rather annoying. And so we sifted some of the rows in the garden through a 1/2-inch hardware cloth, and we're going to run some of this year's compost. It's been all summer working. It's hot. I think it's just about done. So we're going to sift it through the sifter here and give it a whirl, and I think we'll end up with some finer product that'll be a lot nicer to seed the finely seeded stuff into. I also have some worms that I'm going to be doing some sifting for, so been doing this by hand just with a big screen, and get too old for that. So I'm hoping this will make it easier, and I'm going to plug it in and see what breaks. So I think it's working all right. These are all the big lumps and stuff that we didn't want to try and seed in amongst our carrots. This is what was giving us all the trouble with the compost before. And this stuff is all nice and sifted. You can see the difference. This is a pretty nice finished product here. So we're just going to roll stuff out of the way, and I'll clean this out with the tractor and do some more, I think. This is, I don't know, what did it take, Nat? 5 minutes to do this? Maybe?
10 minutes. Yeah.
Something like that.
And it didn't even quite do one whole bucket load. So there's only just a little bit left to do there.
Yeah.
So you were wondering about the angle on the...
Well, a guy could make the angle a little bit steeper on this. Like originally I had I've got a bearing with an eccentric offset hole in it, and I had to go with a bigger hole, so or a bigger bearing, so I had a more aggressive action there. But I've kind of maxed out on how much this kind of bearing will wiggle it back and forth. The other adjustment is going to either be angle or the way it is, but I think it's okay. It's jiggling it. These flat pieces aren't self-clearing, but it doesn't take much with the shovel just to clear everything out, and everything's falling through. So we'll
yeah, that was pretty slick.
We'll do another batch here.
That's already $40 worth of compost down there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good job.
All right.
Let's keep going.